To help us prepare for understanding the unit circle, we first want to be able to identify what is the sign of our trig ratios in each quadrant. So we use this mnemonic, all students take calculus, ASTC, to help us identify when our ratios are positive. So when we talk about signs, SIGN, we're talking about whether it's positive or whether it's negative. So let's examine quadrant 1. So quadrant 1 goes from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. So whenever our theta is 0 to 90, then all ratios are positive. What do I mean? I mean, if we have sine of an angle theta that's between 0 to 90, it will be positive. Same thing with cosine and tangent. So take, for example, sine of 67 degrees. Sine of 67 degrees is approximately 0.92, so it will be positive. And you will find the same holds for cosine of 72 degrees, and the same thing with tangent of even 5 degrees. If you throw those into a calculator, you will notice that each of those will give us a positive answer. All right, now let's look at quadrant 2. Okay, now quadrant 2 here goes from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So that means any theta between 90 degrees and 180 will give us a positive value, but only for sine. So if we do the sine of, how about 110 degrees? Sine of 110 degrees is again 0.939. So that will be positive. But what happens if we took like the cosine of the same angle measure, 110 degrees? What happens here? We end up getting negative 0.3. So this gives us a negative value, meaning cosine is not positive in this quadrant. What about tangent of 160? Tangent of 160 gives us negative 0.3. So again, the only ratio that is positive in Q2 is sine. So the same logic follows for quadrants 3 and 4. In quadrant 3, the only ratio that is positive will be the tangent. So again, in Q3, It consists of everything from 180 degrees to 270 degrees. So this means that if we took the tangent of 200 degrees, we get a positive value, but with sine or cosine, let's say of 196 degrees or 181 degrees, these will give us negative values. So lastly, what do you think will stay positive in quadrant 4? Knowing that we have a letter C there. In this case, the only one that is positive in quadrant 4 is cosine. So if we took sine of 307, we know that this will be negative, so that's canceled. But if we take the cosine of anywhere from 270 up to 360 degrees, we will end up with a positive value. So I want you to check the cosine of, let's do 298. Is that positive? And what about the tangent of 324? What do you think that will be? You guessed it, it'll be negative. Okay, so we use this ASTC to tell us which ratios are positive in which quadrants. So again, if we are to sum this up, ASTC tells us where trig functions are positive and negative.